Guys, right, this one's for you, yeah. If members of the opposite sex are trying everything within their satanic playbooks, right, to get you to lower your standards, or better yet, to get you to drop your standards and compromise your belief system, can her ass immediately. She's showing you her true colours right there. And it's only going to get much worse for you guys if you continue to allow it to happen. Truth be told, take it from somebody that's been around the block more times than he could actually begin to count with the opposite sex. Am I referring to living in sin? No. I'm mostly talking on a spiritual and psychological perspective, right? A real woman would not expect a man to lower his standards, nor would she want her man to, what's the word I'm looking for, drop his standards. Because see, this is how cunning women are. They expect a man to either lower his standards or drop his standards, right? Or better yet, compromise his belief system, so that he's basically vulnerable to attract a toxic ass woman that's actually in fact putting on nothing more than a chameleon act, right? Now what happens when this said chameleon act is over and done with, and she actually gets bored of trad? Not Chad, trad. What happens? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. She'll move on to some other guy while she keeps you as a walking ATM. Real talk. So, wouldn't it make sense to actually cut these relationships off? Or better yet, these soul ties? Yeah, I think it would. I refuse to lower my standards. I don't give a shit how manipulative and how cunning the opposite sex are, because I am telling you now, it's all wasted effort. It's all smoke and mirrors. And their wasted attempts is nothing more than, technically speaking, blocking what could potentially be their blessing and their reward later on. Assuming, of course, they're doing everything biblical and morally, that is. Because I already know what happens. Like I said, I've seen it dozens of times by observing both man and woman. I already know what happens when a woman so manipulatively, if there's such a word, and cunningly gets inside of a guy's head and convinces him to either lower his standards, drop his standards, or better yet, compromise upon his belief system. I already have seen what happens to these guys, and trust me, it's not a pleasant sight. Now, you dumbasses out there that buy into this bullshit, you can come at me with your blue-pilled, veined vaccinations, if that's what you pronounce it, you know, or if that's how you pronounce it. You can come at me with anything you've got, right? I'll come at you with sound gospel truth, and I will tear you a new one, and have you looking like an absolute fool for even trying to intellectually underestimate and challenge me with your bullshit. Truth be told. And this is why us guys, well, many of us guys even, have chosen to remain single, because we're sick and tired of the bullshit. Once you've seen just how manipulative and cunning one member of the opposite sex is, you've seen it all in the vast majority of every single one of them, you know, bar, case in point, 4, 6, 8, no more than 12. Why? Well, because they're genuine, for one. And they don't feel the need to actually, in fact, wear a man down so badly up to the point where he either caves or actually in fact settles for less than what he deserves, biblically that is. And they understand him. You know, they understand just exactly who he is and how he operates for a man. Which, given today's day and age, is a rarity if you ask me, because a lot of women don't even know what us men want, nor do they know how we operate. Real talk. And this is why we have the mess that we have involving the dating market. And it's only going to get much worse for the opposite sex in the long run. It's not going to get worse for us men. Right. Why? Well, one, we can wipe our own ass. Two, we can cook our own meal. Three, we can take care of our own dirty laundry and clean laundry. Four, we can make our own bed. Five, we can cook our own meals. And to put it frankly, with a don at it as well. Six, if I've not already stated five, we can do everything that a woman can technically do within the marriage. So why would we want a woman that could offer us all these things when we can take care of it ourselves? That doesn't make any sense. And the more I think about it now, after taking into consideration what I've learned about the modern day dating scene, as you will, I just don't have it within me, you know. I don't have it within me to actually, take that leap of faith and tie the knot. Why? Well, when you've been alone for however long it's been, you begin to realise just how addictive it really is. Because one, you're within good company, assuming of course you're not doing anything of a degenerative nature that could compromise that. Two, you've got yourself in here, and in here, spiritually that is, and you can keep on putting in whatever spiritual and psychological work along with healing is required in order to accomplish whatever it is that you've got your mind set on in life. And why would we want a woman that could potentially compromise all of that? Real talk. It's just nothing more than a recipe for disaster, really, after they've shown us men their true colours. I mean, of course, you've got some dumbass blue-pilled simps out there, that would actually, in fact, cater to their beck and call and kiss their very feet and worship the ground they walk on because they've not got a brain cell amongst themselves to actually rub together in order to understand the bigger picture and find out just exactly what is going on within today's day and age. Am I making excuses? Yeah, maybe. To those of you that think I am, but deep down, when you're red pilled, or should I say, when you're red pilled even, awakened to just how cunning and manipulative the opposite sex are, and what games they use, it's just not worth losing your own sanity along with peace of heart and peace of mind over. It's not worth any of that. And without failing to mention, nor is it actually worth losing half of your finance and material possessions in the long run when she's done, putting up the chameleon act of pretend good wife, as you will, only to then move on to some other sucker with half of your finance and material possessions. Now, am I saying that every single woman upon the face of the earth are cut from the same cloth? No. I'm not saying that at all. I am, however, saying it's unfortunate that a vast majority of them are. And it's just a risk that I'm not willing to take. It is a risk that I am not willing to take, especially if it weighs heavier more in cons than it does pros. Now, if whatever I'm being offered has its weight worth in pros as well as cons, I could at least reflect and think on whatever it is that I'm trying to be sold, right? But when it's just cons, nah. Nope, I'm good. I'd rather remain alone and single, thank you. I don't have a problem connecting with the opposite sex at all. As a matter of fact, I connect with the opposite sex whenever I get the chance and whenever they make their presence known. But once you've been put through the ringer and you've been put through as much shit as you have over the years, you just don't see them in the way that they're trying to sell themselves anymore. You know, especially like the what is it I'm looking for? The romantic kind of false dream that they're trying to sell as well. Oh, look at me. I have all of this physical beauty. But yeah, I'll keep the having an attitude and the personality of dog shit very, very, very concealed from you so that you don't see that. In other words, they think cardinally and not spiritually. They think that just because they objectify themselves and they cake themselves with so much antwacky, shitty makeup, that makes them automatically attractive. I don't think so. You know, if a woman comes up to you caked in makeup, yeah, and she's trying to put on an act, hand her over some wet wipes, and then say to her, let's see how beautiful you really are. Let's see how confident you really are. Surely, like, if you're confident, you'd have no problem taking that shit off your face. Let's see how good looking you really are. We both know that a lot of the time, in many cases, they're either going to fight back out of self-defense, or they're actually going to take heed onto your voice and go, do you know what? After what the guy's been through, he's got a valid point. In other words, they're willing to work with you, you know, which given today's day and age is a rarity. Because most women, like I said, are for themselves. They don't give a shit about the men. And don't even come at me with the whole fake nice and fake good kind of woke movement. Oh, you know, we do. No, you don't. If you did, the actions would speak for themselves. Not the deeds, although they play a small role. I'm referring to the actions. So once again, to you guys, the opposite sex are trying to get you to lower your standards, or better yet, give up your standards. And if they are trying to get you to compromise on your belief system, your morals, and only God knows what else, can their ass immediately. They're toxic for one, and they're never gonna change. You know, no matter what kind of Oscar performance act they give you, don't fall for it. You know, because trust me, I've seen it all too many times to actually understand what's really going on. And these people, these particular said type of women, will never change. Trust me. You know, they're always for themselves. Always. Now, this video is going to get a lot of backlashing, but I couldn't care less at the end of the day. I'm one for hating feelings and emotions with the truth. And if you're destined to be single, then be single. You know, it's not the end of the world, like many people claim it to be. Oh, it's the end of the world, you know, and I'm this, I'm that, I need a woman, blah blah blah. No, you don't. You don't need any of that. Because once you begin to realise that you have yourself, and all that you have, technically speaking, is yourself, in here and in here, you begin to see through all of the bullshit given today's day and age. Because it's too predictable for one. And once you've seen it being carried out by one member of the opposite sex, like I said, you see it 1,000 times moreover within different women. Facial expressions, micro expressions, body languages. Does not lie. And let this be a life lesson video in guiding you guys out there into making healthier choices when, case in point, getting back into the dating game. I mean, me personally, I would know when I'm good and ready. But given what I know involving the opposite sex, and just how what's the word I'm looking for? How much of a prison sentence, you know, the court of law is, along with the system on a whole, is toward us men, even when we do everything right. And once you begin to weigh up the pros and cons, you begin to realise that there are actually, in fact, more cons into getting married than there are pros. And if any guy had a conscience along with common sense, they would only, and I mean only, get married. Not only when they are good and ready, rather they would get married within the presence of the Lord, via the Holy Spirit, according to the gospel word, and not the law, because the law is destined to fail everyone and anyone. And it was Jesus Christ, like I said, that came here 2,000 years ago that fixed this. Am I referring to the blue-pilled kind of simp of a Jesus Christ, you know, that forgives and condones, you know, infidelity and turns a blind eye to pretty much all other degenerative behaviours? No. I'm referring to the real biblical Jesus Christ. And who was that Jesus Christ? It was the very presence of God the Father himself, incarnate within the flesh. Not the Son of Man, rather he was God himself, incarnate within the flesh. And there we have it. So stay tuned for more videos. And if anyone has any inquiries, you know, in regards to where they're currently at in life, whether it be involving this or this, get in touch. And I'm more than happy to analytically study you and pass on the information that I've learned just by observing you as a person on a whole, in regards to best helping you overcome whatever it is you're going through.